Great. And we're off. This is Sanjit Singh again, CEO of LeadCrunch. Welcome to today's webinar. It's Discovering Sales Trigger Events and Capitalizing on Them with Matt Benati, CEO of LeadGnome, and Owen Fuller, co-founder and chief quizzer at Quizzer. That is a mouthful. I'm glad I got that out.
Well, you know, when you have a startup, you get to choose your own title, right? So
That's right.
It's one of the perks.
Yeah. So we will get going here. I do want to do a couple of things. Can you see my screen with the title slide?
it's looking good on my end.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna skip the poll and just kind of draw you, because we got a lot of great material today. I want to draw your attention to, in the control panel, you have something called 7 reasons why your demand gen sucks. And we don't mean to be rude with that. We just mean to point out some things that may be holding your demand gen program back. And it was written by our chief scientist, Steve Biafor, who's very technically minded. There is some math and science in there, but not a ton. And it kind of walks you through sort of the mathematical problem with the data and the data, underlying data of all lead gen. And it's really interesting. So we're offering it for free as a download inside your control panel under the handouts section if you want to pursue that. So here are 3 speakers for today. I'll be speaking just for a couple minutes at the end. But Matt Benati, CEO of LeadGnome, Owen Fuller, chief co-founder and chief quizzer at Quizzer. And I'm going to start by introducing Matt. And Matt's going to speak first. Matt Benati is the CEO and co-founder of LeadGnome, an innovative account-based intelligence web service that mines email responses to deliver account-specific contacts and enhance existing leads and provide actionable sales intelligence. So Matt's a passionate believer that sales and marketing alignment, transparency and communication optimize revenue generation, and he champions this philosophy in his teams and his writings. He participates actively in the market-changing Flip My Funnel, account-based marketing, and account-based everything communities. Matt's a contributor at the Account-Based Everything Hub, and his previous positions include VP of Marketing at LogMeIn, VP of Global Marketing at Attunity, and senior roles at Netezza and IBM. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Benati. And Matt, take it away.
All right, thank you. So, quick introduction, I really appreciate that. And I just want to let everybody know that you know, this is a very passionate subject for me because I've lived this world for many years professionally, and you know, as marketing, we're always looking to help drive revenue, increase pipeline, all that good stuff. And you know, I think one of the most important points, especially when we're looking at an account-based marketing side of things, is to be able to focus in on accounts and find the right leads within accounts. And so that's what I'm going to focus on in today's webinar here. So do I need to grab the controls to bring up the slides?
You know, I'm having a little bit of trouble doing that, but it should be just a minute. I think I got it.
Sure, no worries. And so I think that, you know, as Sanjit was saying, the synergies between marketing and sales are becoming far more of a focus for organizations as more organizations recognize that integrating those 2 teams more closely, bringing them closer together, significantly impacts the productivity of that overall, some would say, smarketing team.
There you go.
All right. So hopefully, let's see here. All right, how's that look?
Looks great.
Okay, good. All right, so I always like to start sort of with the kinds of things that we're looking to overcome or improve upon. And so challenge number 1 is all about increasing lead volume and in particular quality. Again, if we're talking about account-based marketing, this is fairly fairly a big focal point for that community. I think it also is in more traditional lead-based or inbound types of marketing strategies. I believe both ABM and inbound are appropriate. It just depends on your particular business model and how you go to market. But I think for both, it's very true that we're trying to generate leads which fit your ICP, right? Your ideal customer profile, and you want that data to be as accurate as possible. And I think last, and one of the key tie-ins between marketing and sales are sales trigger events. So we'll talk about this, all of these aspects as we progress. The second challenge is the recognition that our customer databases are decaying at a rapid rate. The vast majority of us out there, that 94%, understand that this is a problem. And if your data is, say, 80% accurate, then the best that any of your campaigns can be, assuming that it was a 100% perfect campaign, is to yield 80%. And we know that our databases decay at an enormous rate. It's north of 40% for sure. The data below that you see is from ZoomInfo. Our own U.S. government, when talking about employment changes, that's at 33% year over year, that people change jobs. So, there's many, many data points that tell us, and in fact, our own experiences tell us that we're in a very dynamic environment, and as marketers, we need to keep up with that change. So the question is, how do we go about that? What models are people looking towards to figure this out? And the one that I've focused on, and the one that my company LeadGnome focuses on, is all about looking at a secret source of data, we say, which are reply emails. Most people don't think of these as sources of information, but often think about them more in terms of a nuisance. And I think that's a huge mistake. The amount of information that we can understand from campaign reply emails, whether from SDR teams, and of course sending emails and then getting into a cadence of emails and calls, or traditionally where email is a component of a larger marketing campaign, we're always engaging our prospects and customers with emails. And for years, we've leveraged this as, yes, a prospecting tool, but also an engagement tool. And we've said to ourselves, we're going to look at those replies because people are interacting with us, and or there's lots of information. And today, most people look at this and they take these campaign reply emails and they may send some people after it. Those are the savvy teams, I think. Many of us have ignored that information, but it's very clear that we can get data cleansing capabilities out of it. We can get tremendous account intelligence out of it, and we can certainly increase the number of folks within accounts in order to close deals from reply emails. I think Gartner's latest number is somewhere between 7 and 12 people within an account on average in order to close a deal. So it's clear that we need to gain depth and breadth within those accounts. And of course, if possible, if possible, we want to also automate this process. And so at scale, it's really important if we're getting hundreds, thousands of reply emails where there's tremendous data in there. We'll show that in a second. These sales trigger events are buried in this information. We need a way to automate it. So why is it really important to identify this account-based intelligence? Number one reason, and the one that we'll focus on today, are sales trigger events. And Craig Elias, who is the author of the trigger event selling methodology and CEO of Shift Selling. His data, as proven out through his years of sales and his interactions with thousands of companies as he talks to people about this, tells us that if we're first in to a deal, that we're capable of winning that sale 74% of the time. I mean, it's just a significant increase in our ability to affect the outcome of those deals. And so Craig, for a long time, has had a methodology that we'll get to in a second. And when I reached out to him, he loved what we were doing, and we've done a lot of work on this. I think secondary is being able to generate new contacts from these reply emails, this secret source. We can provide a significant improvement in quality, as you see there. We have many companies, Host Analytics being one of them, leveraging reply emails that can increase, that have increased their lead quality by 80%. You know, this is significant. Also increase your database by close to 40%. And as well, when you're sending out emails, which you normally do, and you do not ignore the responses, we're able to look at many of your existing leads, append new information to them, and maintain existing information about those leads. And we'll get into some of those discussions as well. I would say that the data coming back from reply emails is clearly the freshest data out there. You know, it's real time essentially, and it's coming directly from the accounts you're already engaging with. So here's Craig and his method of taking a look at bounces. He doesn't waste a single thing, and one of the things that he recognized is that a bounced email, which means that literally the person's no longer at the company, they've shut down that email address, can multiply into 4 opportunities, right? So this is a significant impact to a sales team in a positive way, that a single bounce can convert into 4 potential opportunities. And how is that happens? Well, the idea that you know that person has left, so they were either a customer or a prospect, but they're likely to recognize you wherever they've gone. So you want to find out where that person has gone and sell into them. Likewise, they displace somebody, and that person now has buying power somewhere else. You want to find them. You also are looking for the people, or the person that replaced your original contact. That could be looked at as an opportunity, and it could also be looked at as risk mitigation. One of Craig's most valued points around this process is that when people leave, there's a risk to your current engagement with that company. And so you want to make sure you're on top of that and you look at it. And finally, where did that person come from? There's a potential opportunity there as well. And so I encourage folks that are listening to go look at Craig Elias and his work. He's easy to find out there on the web, and I think it might be shiftselling.com for a lot of the information. But what I did is I went to Craig and I said, hey, Craig, how about if I could give you a 3, 6, even 9-month timing advantage on a bounced email? And he was floored. And left to company emails are that timing advantage. So very typically, before a person leaves a company, the company or that person creates an auto response message that we term a left the company reply mail, and it looks something like this, right? In this case, thank you for your email. Please be advised that as this date, Pamela will no longer be with this company, and our new marketing manager, in this case, Jenny, can be contacted, and here's the information. These are very, very common, and in order for business to proceed and transition to occur, companies leave these left the company emails on for minimum of a quarter, so that they don't let good business, fall through the cracks, and so that they're continuing to engage with the folks in that community, so that they don't find out from a bounced email or from some other method that a key person in the organization has changed. And so if we're looking for timing advantages, there's no better timing advantage of a significant change within an organization than a left the company email. So if we just sort of look at what this means, your primary contact leaving an account can be challenging, and if you're looking at your reply emails, then you're able to understand that organizational change, and you can get information about that person that left. Oftentimes they'll say, hey, if you want to follow me, personal email or my cell phone, right? So that information can be there. And it also provides you a significant advantage over your competition from a timing perspective. And if we look at list vendors and database vendors out there, it's been a trend, and I think maybe I don't know, I first learned about these way back with a company called Discover.org, who's very good at keeping up with triggers, they call them, right? So changes and roles and so on. And all of these companies look to provide that. If you're looking in your find these first, very often. And you'll find before the person even updates their LinkedIn. So I strongly recommend that you take some of the action items below, say a monthly newsletter or something. And yes, it's important to provide them with content that's going on within your organization and to keep that rapport going. But these are also wonderful mechanisms to understand what's happening within those accounts if you're looking at the replies. Before we go on to out of office, a lot of times we focus in on the pre-sales world. I'd like to also suggest that a left the company email is also very important for renewals, particularly if you're a SaaS company where each renewal is 100% and therefore very, very important to your business. A left the company email can let you know that your primary contact for a renewal is no longer there. And we want to make sure that we understand who is replacing that person so that your renewal doesn't fall off, the cliff as you come up on that renewal. So, many of these types of reply emails have a pre and a post-sale kind of use case. And the left the company email certainly does. So let's go into an out-of-office reply email. And this makes up, I'd say, the vast majority of replies that come back at folks. And they're a wealth of information. We've literally seen as many as 20 contacts for high-level people as alternates within an organization. You almost get a directory in some cases. What we do find most typically, on average, we're seeing between 55 and 65% of out-of-office replies provide an alternate contact. And so it's rich with information in two ways. Alternate contacts that we've been talking about here. In this case, it's Bruce. So it looks like Joe is out of the office, and then he suggests that while he's gone, contact Sally and Bruce. And so what's significant about this is that you now have the opportunity to reach out to 2 new people within that organization. And I'm not talking about putting them directly into a multi-pronged nurturing campaign, right? We need to respect permission marketing. but it does give us a unique opportunity and insight into the company that you're engaged with, and to start to build that rapport. I often discuss with my clients that the best way to go about this is one of two ways. Either provide them with an introduction email with your best CTA call to action, or modify the original email to Joe, which let's just say was a webinar, and send that same exact email out to Sally and to Bruce with a two-line intro, which is, hey, Joe was out of the office, and we didn't want you or your company to miss out on this great webinar, and so Joe suggested that we reach out to you. It's transparent, it's honest, and you're giving them a good piece of material to get introduced to your company. So you have alternates. We can also pick up information about Joe you may not have had. Maybe you didn't know that Joe's title was Digital Marketing Manager. This is part of that append and cleanse, which is significantly important if you want to properly segment your database for future outreaches. It helps you understand whether Joe may have been promoted recently, as an example. Maybe your title is digital marketing analyst, and now he's the digital marketing manager. That could be significant, right? Maybe Joe was your end user. He's already a customer, and he could have been in part of your end user group, but now Joe is actually your buyer. So this could impact your renewal. It certainly impacts the messages and the interactions you want to have with Joe going forward. Just a whole host of possibilities there. And the last thing I want to point out, which isn't highlighted here, is that we know that Joe's coming back on a specific date, in this case September 6th. Well, we want to make sure that we're able to connect with people. And given that Joe is coming back on the 6th, we'll assume that's a Monday, we'll probably want to reach out to him on Tuesday. And this is wonderful information for either your LDR or SDR teams, because you know that your connect rate is going to significantly improve because you know when Joe's going to come back. Oftentimes, by the way, it'll also say, hey, I'm out at a conference, or I'm on vacation, and that's just another extra piece to warm up that conversation with Joe, assuming that he's a prospect and you're reaching out to him. So we've covered a lot of the information on this slide by looking at the example, but it's here for you as reference. And this is a use case for that renewal rate that we talked about before. It's possible Joe has gone from a user to your buyer. The other another type of email that is a reply email that is very typical these days is a change in email address. And I don't have a picture of it, but it goes something like, as of January 1st, my email address is changing. They'll specify that. Please update your records, right? We've all seen these. And it's really important that we don't just simply do the mechanical piece, which is important, that we update your Salesforce or your marketing automation, maybe Marketo or HubSpot marketing automation system, so that you can continue to connect with this person. That's certainly the simple mechanical aspect, and unfortunately all too often, since we ignore these reply emails, we don't even get to that. But think about the rationale for a change in the email address. There's something significant going on there. This is a trigger event, right? Is this an M&A type of event that's happened? Did somebody buy that company that I've been dealing with, either as a customer or a prospect? What impact does that have? What other resources do I need to bring to bear in order to continue to engage and advance this sales cycle? Is it a rebranding exercise by the company? If it is, that's also a wonderful touch point. Why has that happened? How do I engage and talk to this person about that and get more information. Again, another great trigger event. And it could simply be for personal reasons, maybe a marriage or something like that. Even with something that may not be specifically about the company as a trigger event, it's certainly a nice touch point for you and your team to engage with that person. So Steve Richard is a fairly well-known voice for inside sales teams, and he agrees that looking at this information is really important. I would also point out that folks like Aaron Ross in his book instruct us to not waste our reply emails. And so, when we're appending and cleansing data constantly, maybe we do projects once a quarter, once every 6 months. The bigger your database, the bigger the problem. Reply emails provide us with another way, and I would say a better way, because we're continuously appending and cleansing your data. And so we're sort of stepping outside of trigger events here. I just want to provide you with just a little bit of an insight into those other 3 points we made at the top, and append and cleanse your customer database on a regular basis, on a continuous basis, can be very, very helpful for you, whether you're in sales or in marketing. And finally, also looking at penetrating target accounts. I have many accounts that have LeadGnome on the back end of their marketing campaigns, their email campaigns specifically, in order to find other ways to sell in other folks within that organization. They may already be existing accounts, and you're looking for new opportunities within that account, and reply emails can provide that. Get you broader and deeper within an organization. And I talked a lot about account-based marketing, but I didn't want inbound marketing to be void of this discussion, and indeed it's not. So Kim is a longtime HubSpotter. She's currently running the HubSpot for Startups program, and she absolutely sees the value of the inbound model. We like frictionless forms at the top. It could be as simple as an email address in exchange for a newsletter. Don't let those go to waste. When you send to those email addresses with your newsletter and you get a reply, you'll be it's very easy then to take those replies and turn an email address into a full-fledged record, right? First name, last name, company, titles, phone numbers, they're all there for us if we simply look in your reply to mailbox. And so that's the use case. It's there to for your reference when we make these slides available afterward. So in summary, just wanted to take another quick look at this. Do not waste your reply emails. That's why I turn trash into cash. So often we make the mistake of not looking inside our reply mailboxes, and there's just a wealth of data, and it's truly fresh data for you to use. It can give you a significant timing advantage, which means getting into accounts, shaping those deals right, well before your competition. And so, I invite you to take a look at that. And that is it for me.
That was awesome, Matt. That's really good stuff. I'll open it up for questions. There's a questions box in the window, and I actually saw Craig on this call, Craig Elias, earlier. So he's getting some good shout outs today. Now, I'm just curious. I guess I want to ask you a little bit about how did this concept come about of what you're doing in LeadGnome?
Yeah, great question. So I think I mentioned at sort of the top of the discussion, I've lived this life, and for over many, many companies, large and small. And when I first took over a full marketing department, I don't know, a long time ago. Um, we were looking for, I had very little budget. It was a small organization. And I was looking for any type of, if you will, guerrilla marketing tactics that I could employ to help my sales team and help, with awareness. And we were running, well, the team that I came into had already stepped up to run as part of an overall campaign, an email campaign. And so what I what I did was, sort of having an engineering background and data background, I went into the reply mailbox to look for bounce rates because we had purchased a list. I was literally going to go back to the list vendor if the quality, that is, that the bounce rate wasn't where they had guaranteed it to be, and say, hey, I need some more leads. Right? I was just looking for anything
Right.
to increase my ability. And what I found were all of these kinds of emails, and I just, I guess I was too much of a rookie. I'm looking at this saying, this is great information. And so I sent my team in after it, and they came back to me and just said, please don't ever make me do that again. Right? It took them forever to do it. You have to open up every email. They're hidden. It's
Right.
not as if they shout, hey, I've got great information here. And then, you got to cut and paste it. It's horrible. And so it's through my own experience. I just, I've lived this, and we use it today. I've used it at many companies. So it's really useful.
And so your platform obviously automates what's otherwise a very, very tedious and time-consuming process. Do you also parse that into opportunities, or is that something that someone can do with their CRM that can automate that part of the process?
That's right. So we integrate with many, many of the popular marketing automation and CRM systems.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the ABM world, the account-based marketing world, you'll notice that, or you'll know that lead to account matching is one of the foundational pieces of ABM. That is, you get a lead and you want to see it as part of the whole of an account, right? And that's something that LeadGnome does automatically as well, right? Because we know who you sent the email to, and so the replies coming back with that same email domain can be pushed into, if you will, in a Salesforce environment, the contacts, right, the account side of the world, as opposed to the lead side. So yes, we do facilitate that. We have many partners in our ecosystem that help our customers with further automations, whether that be in their marketing automation platform or their CRM system. We supply data with all the information that's necessary to trigger downstream workflows.
Gotcha. And what about Cadence? I assume that would apply to Cadence software platforms as well.
Yeah, yeah. So Cadence software platforms, typically they work off of your CRM.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, so because we integrate with the CRMs, these Cadence software pieces like SalesLoft, right? They're a customer and a partner of ours.
Mm-hmm.
DiscoverOrg, same thing. These systems typically work off of Salesforce or other CRM systems. And because we integrate with them, it sort of, if you will, shares the love across those Cadence systems.
Awesome. Well, that's a great presentation, a great topic, and I hope very useful for the listeners. Thank you, Matt. I also now want to introduce Owen Fuller. He's co-founder and chief quizzer at Quizzer. He and his team help the world's best marketers and publishers get better traffic, leads, and insights through quizzes, polls, and lists. Their software platform has over 200,000 users, including top brands like ESPN, Red Bull, HubSpot, and NBC. Before Quizzer, Owen built and sold Fit Marketing, an inbound marketing agency that rode years of 100% plus annual growth to recognition of one of Utah's fastest growing companies. So welcome, Owen. And Owen, are you unmuted? Looks like you are.
I think.
You think so? Okay. I'm
Oh,
gonna
can you?
say that again.
Can you hear me? Sounds like you can, right?
Yeah, I'm just making you the presenter and handing control over.
Awesome. Well, that was really good, Matt. I just appreciated the chance to get to know more about what you guys are doing. Of course, coming from this world too, as Sanji just mentioned, my background is in building an inbound marketing agency before I helped launch the software company, and I can see the value of what you're offering there. And when we think about leads, I thought I would pull up a few examples of what we can do as well to help people who are looking to generate leads. So as you heard in the introduction, our company is called Quizzer. We actually have a couple different products in our product suite. One is Quizzer, one is Polecaster, one is Boombox. So if you see one of those other ones in something I share, don't be thrown off. It's all the same happy family. And so what we do is we help people to create these really awesome pieces of interactive content like a quiz or a poll or a list to then, if you're a marketer, to have a conversion event, whatever that may be for you, whether that's a share if you're more thinking about engagement, or maybe it's to generate a lead, to get somebody to fill out a lead form, or maybe to get them to click through to go to a product page or something like that. But we have these different examples that I want to show because I think they do the best job of just bringing this stuff to life. So you've got one here. This is one that's special to my heart because this is actually the first one that we ever made. This was one that we made way back when I was running my agency, and it was helping people to find out which marketing superhero they are. What's crazy about this piece of content is it was shared by 68% of the people that took it in the first week. So that was an unusual result, especially when you talk about B2B world and driving leads that way. Here's one from the next one we did was, Are You an Inbound Marketing Expert? And we got this up on the Kissmetrics blog. They were friendly. And you go through this quiz, and at the end of the experience, I won't go all the way through this one, you get a call to action to get an ebook. And so we got a couple hundred leads that were with that. And not only did we get the leads, but we got all of the data associated with them. And then we were able to plug that right into our marketing automation platform. In our case, we're using HubSpot, and to nurture the relationships based on what we found. Here's a quiz from Infusionsoft that they did. Not only do a lot of Infusionsoft customers or HubSpot customers and Marketo customers use this stuff, but the companies themselves are actually all customers of ours. So here's one that Infusionsoft did to help you figure out what kind of entrepreneur you are. So you can kind of fly through this, and you'll see at the end they get a call to action, which takes you through to a special landing page where you actually get your detailed results all about the fact that you're a survivor entrepreneur. And here's a cool one that I like from Healthy Paws Pet Insurance. They did a really great job of incorporating this into their site with our tool. You have these great questions, and I'm going to kind of fly through these in the interest of time to get down to the end of where there's the call to action. So they actually used a gated result, which was a really good tactic here, which, the average, the numbers with this stuff is crazy. If you just look at quizzes, for example, the average completion rate of a quiz of all of the many, we're in front of 50 million people a month now, so these are taken all over. The average completion rate is over 80%. And the average lead conversion rate is 12%. And this, of course, did very well. This call to action for people a chance to win a gift card. Here's some stats that were taken a little while back that generated nearly 300,000 leads, had a 42% offer conversion rate, 3 minutes and 32 seconds time spent on site. Here's another one that's really cool. This is more from the e-commerce world. You get these fun GIFs and rich media. You can incorporate anything you want into this stuff. Create a really compelling experience. And while you're asking all these questions that are fun and interesting and kind of turn the brain on of the person you're talking to, you also will ask things that will be really valuable for your follow-up and that make that lead a lot more qualified. So like in this, these guys are selling frames for glasses. They want to know the shape of your face. Now their call to action wasn't incredibly strong. As you see here, this only got a 6% lead conversion rate, so it didn't hit the benchmark. But they always say, well, the proof is in the pudding, and that turned out just fine. That quiz alone generated over $1 million in revenue, and there's big case studies written up about that. Here's another one that's really cool. Which cleat will make you play like a pro? And what I like about this is the insight that they got in this quiz was really valuable in how they nurtured the relationship, both from an email standpoint and from a Facebook ad standpoint. So they were asking these questions that are pretty straightforward. How do you celebrate a goal? But then this one was the key one for them. Which player does your game most resemble? And what they found is if they then went back and they sent emails to people based on that, based on whose game they said they most resembled, like this, they got the data and said, okay, these are all the Neymar people. They actually then uploaded that information to Facebook and created these custom audiences off it. And in fact, with our product, you don't even have to do that. I mean, they use the email. You can just fire a Facebook pixel, and then you will be able to just create a custom audience in Facebook, as well as follow up and nurture those leads right through your email marketing or marketing automation system. We use this tool ourselves all the time. So I know when we talk about leads, a lot of times we're talking in the B2B space. So this is actually a quiz that one of our guys on our sales team developed that you go through that helps you figure out exactly which package is right for you with us. You know, these sort of questions. This is very straightforward in asking things that help us know how to build the right package for anybody that comes through our sales process. And what's great about this is all goes into Salesforce. We're able to personalize all of that and create this really great experience where we know you, we know kind of how you want to buy, what things matter to you, and then we have that saved so that we can nurture the relationship going forward, taking all that into account. So that's a quick rundown of what we do and how that applies to the topic of leads. And of course, happy to answer any questions you guys might have about all that stuff too.
Great. That was fast and furious. Feel free to type questions into the question box. So I guess, and if you said it, I apologize, I missed it. So I'm a marketer and I'm looking at this and I say, okay, so versus let's say if I put a landing page with a white paper or some other kind of landing page with some kind of asset, how do quizzes do in general against those kind of assets?
Yeah, really good question. So generally they win, and here's why. They win because there's something really powerful that happens when you're prompted to take a quiz or you're asked a question. Your mind is kind of opened, and so if you look at things like time, like engagement, or just a conversion rate, even if what you want to give people in the end is an ebook, you'll find that you get a lot higher conversion rate on the ebook if you've given this great experience to people where they find, oh, this is the perfect ebook for me. The quizzes pull people in. They keep their attention with these really high completion rates. It's really high kind of time on site. The average time on site for a quiz is 2 minutes 27 seconds. So it does a really great job of getting people engaging with the content you want to share with them, and then it's giving them a personalized recommendation. And what we've seen is if you just put like an ebook up or a landing page up and you're like asking someone to fill out a form, that you actually get a higher overall conversion rate on how many, if 100 people go to, if you split test it, 100 people go to a page that has just the ebook offer, and 100 people go to a quiz that helps them find out which ebook is perfect for them, and then gives them an offer. We're actually getting more people through the bottom of the funnel with the quiz version than just the ebook page on most tests that we run. Good question.
Yeah, it sounds like the promise of a quiz is that you're going to get some kind of, something personalized. And
That's
what's
right.
funny about that, I remember my brother saw an online quiz about that would somehow categorize you politically, which, you really think about it, that's a pretty complicated thing to do. But he's a pretty smart guy, but he just believed that this would give a very, very accurate picture of, and then he made us all take the quiz. So, and that was fairly recent. So I just thought that was very interesting that how engaging it was, and that he actually drew us into the process as well.
And just one that, if I could, it's just that what a lot of people will ask when they say this, like, oh, so this is just basically like a survey. Well, kind of, except for I think why quizzes really pull people in, like in this example you just shared, is that the quizzes have the promise that you're going to get something based on what you put into it. There's this element of reciprocity, like
or personalized, yeah.
Exactly, you're going to get something personalized, right? That is, so it's like with a survey, there's not that sense. That's why people beg you to take surveys. But with a quiz, it's like, wow, we have a really high start rate, completion rate. You put it on our email, and we get a better open rate and a better click-through rate. It's this promise that you're going to get something that's meant for you if you participate in this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's usually when we think of a quiz, we don't think of a salesperson grilling us about how much money we want to spend this quarter on X services. We think of we think of a series of questions that is thoughtful and well designed and geared to help us understand ourselves better.
That's right.
So, yeah, and it's funny because I have a lot of injuries, and when I go to physical therapist, the first session, I know in the first 5 minutes how good they are because of the quality of the questions they ask me.
That's right.
And so yeah, it's really interesting. Now I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Matt. I mean, how did this come about? How did you get into this field?
Yeah, really good question. So it was pretty straightforward. I was running this inbound marketing agency, and a couple guys moved in next door to me, and they had a quiz tool for teachers and educators. And it was just going so-so for them. And we went out to lunch, and we started talking, and we really came to this idea of like, man, this should be something for marketers.
Mhm.
Like, at the time where like BuzzFeed was having a lot of success with quizzes that were going viral, and New York Times, and like, man, this really could be something. And from there, we started launching our own stuff, like this example that I have on the screen, and it just took off. I mean, all of a sudden, we had LinkedIn, Reddit, Yelp, Yahoo, a lot of the biggest and best brands in the world using our tool to do all this stuff, and we raised money and grew the team, and from there, it's kind of history. It's just been this awesome ride.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, I think we've reached the end of the questions, but I'm going to take back control and then just tell you a few things about Lead Crunch, and we'll go from there. Let's see.
Right.
Convert it over. Okay. Thanks a lot, Owen. That was awesome. So I just want to wrap up with just a few slides about what we do. A lot of our listeners and people that watch our videos, kind of already know what we do. But our motto is that we use artificial intelligence to make your lead generation process better, with the goal of being able to predict and personalize. And so, I'm firmly in the same camp um, as the two of you. Account based. Account based is what we're all about. And it sounds like Matt, you were telling me earlier, a lot of marketers have converted to an account based thinking because,
They really have.
yeah, from our standpoint, the size and shape and fit of a business, how it fits with what you're selling, is absolutely critical. And there's just some businesses that are going to be a better fit. And if you spend more time on the accounts that make more sense, um, you're going to have a higher close ratio. You're going to close better customers because those customers are inherently a better fit. They're going to give you more revenue. They're going to stay longer. So customer lifetime value. They're going to give you referrals and testimonials and spread the word. And that's really what you're after. And so a lot of people say, well, most of my customers come from such and such an industry, and that's great, but um, now we don't have to just rely on those kinds of measures anymore. Industry information, size information, geography. Those have been done for many, many, many years, and the data there is quite flawed. Even the categorization data people use. So we actually use a totally different approach. We start with looking at your best customers, and we extract thousands of features, which include industry, size, and geography. But we also realize that we can't rely entirely on those because uh, although helpful, they are just several of many, many, many possible data points that can be used today. And so our core competency is data science, and we use data science to find the patterns that are that what is your customer DNA? We can extract that and then find accounts that are very similar, have the same DNA. And then we help you build a more predictable sales model, increase deal flow, all the things you would expect. Obviously, accelerating the sales funnel, more deals, better kinds of deals. Um, but then not only do we provide you the account targets and contact targets, but we have phone pros who can actually call to verify the contacts and or qualify the contacts. And we've got a couple of great speakers today to tell you, how you can get better information using email about these contacts and leverage off of that. And then also, when you engage these contacts, you can engage them in a deeper way with things like quizzes. So these tools that we've mentioned today are very, very synergistic. And what we offer is, education like this, a free trial where we actually calibrate. We don't give you awesome leads on day one. We actually spend a little bit of time calibrating our system to your specific needs. We create a custom data model for every one of our clients. So you upload information. We give you a couple of sets of data to verify, to thumbs up or thumbs down, and then our system is fully calibrated. You get to keep the leads for free that come out of that. And then after that, you could do a one-time campaign with us or a recurring campaign. We don't force everyone into a recurring revenue stream for us. We focus on what your needs are as far as that goes. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you a rough idea. Most of you probably already know us, but here's some ways you can reach us and find out more information. And please give the other two things a check that we talked about today: Quizzer, LeadGnome, and great tools. So thanks again. Any last thoughts, Matt or Owen?
Just appreciate.
So, go ahead, Owen.
I was just going to say just thanks a bunch for the chance to be here with you. And if you have any questions about the stuff we shared, feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Twitter at Owen Fuller or on LinkedIn, Owen Fuller there as well. Or, just send me an email, owen@quizzer.com, owen@qzzr.com. Happy to hear from you and answer any questions you have about how quizzes can be a part of this process of discovering your sales trigger events and learning how to capitalize on them. And really impressed with what I learned from both of you guys as well today. So thanks.
Great, Matt.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the whole idea of a quiz is really intriguing from a couple of perspectives. So I really enjoyed learning more about what you do, Owen. I find that entertainment along the way, and quizzes certainly lend themselves well to that, is really useful and very impactful for the whole process. So it's great to hear that. I would say that if you're interested in understanding account-based marketing, and that's something that's new to you or that you're embarking on already but need some pointers, one of the great organizations is called Flip My Funnel, and you can find them on Twitter at Flip My Funnel. You can find them online at flipmyfunnel.org or .com. And that's actually where I am today. I'm at the Flip My Funnel conference in Atlanta. If you're interested in exploring how reply emails can help you, please just give me a shout. I'm at Matt Benati at Twitter and on LinkedIn. And it's matt@leadgnome.com. And thanks, everybody, for your time.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Owen. And thank you to all our listeners. Have a great rest of the week and great holiday season. Bye.